Hi, Epic Recaps here. And today I am going to explain to you a 2016 American action thriller titled Blood Father. If you want to be spoiled, keep watching. The movie opens and a young woman named Lydia is purchasing ammo and a pack of chewing gum. Returning outside, she gets into a car where her boyfriend Jonah and his crew are waiting. The men load their guns with the ammo and drive off to their destination. They arrive in front of a house where the tenants are being paid by Jonah to stash the illegal drug money for the Mexican cartel. Getting word that someone is skimming, he is there to get his money back and kill them. Noticing that Lydia appears nervous, Jonah gives her a line of cocaine and instructs her to watch the backyard. Lydia, who is watching some children play, hears a gunshot from the house and runs inside, where she finds a dead man on the ground and Jonah roughing up a woman. He threatens his captive and demands to know where his money is. Looking at the terrified woman, Lydia tries to reason with him to spare her life. Displeased by her lack of conviction, he tries to force Lydia to shoot the woman. Unable to take the shot, they get into a heated exchange and she accidentally shoots Jonah in the neck, seemingly killing him. She runs out of the house as Jonah's men hear the shot and rush to his aid. The scene changes, and somewhere in the California desert, Lydia's father John, an ex-con and recent parolee, is sharing his story at an AA meeting with his sponsor, Kirby. After the meeting, he returns to his trailer, which doubles as his tattoo studio, where he works as a tattoo artist. That evening, John gets a call from Lydia, whom he hasn't heard from in a very long time. She tells him that she is in trouble, and he arranges to pick her up in Santa Monica. He picks her up, and on the drive back, she passes out from the effects of the drugs and alcohol she previously consumed. Over the next few days, John notices Lydia's extreme mood swings and goes through her purse, throwing away all the drugs he can find. That night, some men arrive at John's trailer, requesting tattoos. When John tells them that he's closed and shuts the door, the men open fire on the trailer. One of them tries to unlock the door, but John grabs a knife and stabs him in the hand. Moments later, they ram the trailer, flipping it onto its side. Outside, Kirby and other residents of the trailer park arrive with shotguns to help. The two groups stand off, but realizing that they are outnumbered, the men decide to leave. Hearing sirens in the distance, John, who goes against Kirby's wishes for them to stay and talk to the police, takes Lydia and leaves. The next day, Lydia tells John the whole story about what happened with Jonah and how she ended up shooting him. They stop at a motel to rest, and when John falls asleep, Lydia sneaks out to talk to the motel clerk. He tells her that the police have been called and are on their way. He wants to help them because he likes Lydia. Lydia quickly calls John and tells him that they need to leave right away. John grabs their stuff and heads to the front desk. The clerk gives them a key to another room where they can hide out, and they make it to the room just in time to watch from the window as the police search the rooms. All of a sudden, John and Lydia watch as a shotgun blasts and a cop tumbles over the second floor rail. A tattooed man emerges from the room. John presumes that the man is a professional assassin working for the Mexican drug cartel. Trying to escape from the motel, the duo sneak to a car which John tries to hotwire. Attracting his attention, the assassin prepares to shoot at their car but is distracted by another cop who appears. John successfully hotwires the car and narrowly avoids the assassin's bullets as they escape the motel parking lot. They go to see one of John's old friends from the Vietnam War. It is revealed that John took the fall for something that his friend Preacher did, which resulted in John serving time in prison. Although Preacher initially appears to want to help, the following morning, Preacher's wife Charisse wakes John and Lydia up at gunpoint. She instructs them to get up and walks them out to a shed. Preacher informs the pair that he is going to turn them over to the cops to collect the reward, since he has fallen on hard times. John punches Charisse, turning the tables on them, and getting on a motorcycle, he escapes with Lydia. As they're driving, two assassins appear and John stops in the middle of the road. Pulling out a shotgun, he blasts one of the men, as the other speeds away. John takes off after him and shoots at the man, who then drives into the opposite lane and collides head-on with a truck. They take refuge at another motel where Lydia proceeds to dye her hair blonde and John shaves off his beard. He tells Lydia that he has to pay someone a visit and instructs her to call him if anything happens. Arriving at a prison, John visits his old friend, Arturo, who tells him that Lydia's boyfriend Jonah was the one stealing the money from the stash houses and framing the tenants. Back at the motel, Lydia gets a call from Kirby, who instructs her to go to a public place. Shortly after, She arrives at a movie theater and gets a call from Jonah, who is still alive, despite being shot in the throat. He tells her that he had to have extensive surgery in order to survive. Still on the phone, he appears out of nowhere and she makes a dash to the parking lot, where one of Jonah's men knocks her unconscious. They throw her in the backseat of their car and drive away. Outside of the prison, John gets a call from Lydia's phone number. He picks up the phone and Jonah tells him that he has Lydia. Jonah puts a visibly beaten Kirby on the phone, who tells John that he tried and that he's sorry. In the background, John hears Kirby get shot multiple times. John becomes angry and tells Jonah that he knows he was behind the stolen money from the stash house. Threatening to tell Jonah's uncle, who is a member of the cartel, John demands to see Lydia and the men arrange to meet. John returns to Preacher's shed, where he takes some grenades and a landmine that he noticed earlier. Preacher appears in the doorway with a gun, and John shoots him without missing a beat. Pulling up on an old road, in the middle of the desert, John parks his motorcycle, which he attached the landmine to, in front of Jonah's SUV, blocking it from leaving. Jonah's men search him for weapons and put him in the back seat of the SUV with Lydia. Preparing to leave, Jonah instructs his men to move the bike and the two men unknowingly set off the landmine. John, taking advantage of the distraction, attacks the man guarding him and kicks Jonah's chair, which locks him in place. Jonah manages to free himself and gets out of the SUV. Meanwhile, John bites off part of the gang member's ear. John wrestles the gun out of the man's hand, and is able to shoot Jonah in the shoulder, sending him to the ground. He forces the gun under the man's chin and shoots him through the head. Jonah gets up and shoots at John, who uses the dead man's body as a shield. Jonah runs off into the desert. After ripping the tape from their hands, they get out of the SUV, but the assassin from the motel appears and shoots John in the stomach. Quickly ducking behind an SUV, John urges Lydia to run while he provides cover, but she refuses. They decide to make a dash to the other car, and as they're running, John shoots back at the assassin, and manages to hit him. John pushes Lydia out of the way, as the assassin takes another shot, and John falls to the ground. Lydia gets into the car and drives it to John to provide cover. She goes over to her father and he cradles her in his arms. From under the car, he sees the assassin approaching them. Appearing from behind, the assassin thinks he has his targets cornered. But he looks over to see John alongside the car. John shoots the assassin in the head, but not before the assassin gets a shot off, hitting John in the chest. John tells Lydia that he loves her as he takes his last breath. The police arrive and arrest Jonah. Sometime later, arriving at prison, Jonah is surrounded by John's old friend Arturo and his gang. In the final scene, Lydia is at an AA meeting and has been sober for a year. The end. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a comment down below. For more movie recaps, don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. See you next time.